Yes.
Yes. Welcome to the Brooklyn Props podcast, the official podcast for BrooklynProps.com, a little website on your interwebs featuring hip-hop, photography, and, of course, Brooklyn.
A lot of culture and stuff like that. That's how we do it.
Yeah, man. Getting busy.
We have a very special, always blessed to have this guy in the building. We've had him one time before. Returning guest, my man A. Kelley.
Yeah.
Say hello, my friend.
I had so much fun the first time.
Had to come back. Actually, it's contractually obligated, but you know what I mean? So we got him in the building. Before we get to all this stuff that we want to talk to with him, I'm going to let my man Bliss get into news for a second.
Yeah, we don't really have much. There's actually nothing going on in hip-hop unless you're Kendrick Lamar.
Mitt Romney's a liar.
And if you are Kendrick Lamar, you're extremely happy now.
Did the numbers for first week come in?
I haven't seen them.
Listen, we have less horses and bayonets. We have these things called... I'm sorry.
Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey. Yo. Hello? Yo, what's going on? Yo, we in the middle of our podcast. Yo, what's going on? Yeah, I got you. All right, let's get it. Where the news at?
But yeah, the numbers haven't come in, but I've heard it enough already in the streets today, and yeah,
man. You hear it in the cars.
I hear it in the cars.
What are you hearing?
I'm hearing "Good Kid" and the Drake song.
Okay.
The Drake song, "Curtain Call" or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm hearing it, and it, I checked it out. I copped a couple singles. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm just happy that it's, I guess, living up to expectations, And
it's nice, that it's a lyrical album.
Yeah, like the first song on there really like put me in the right headspace because again, I'm just thinking it was going to be some bullshit. I don't know. You just can't trust music nowadays. You know what I mean?
Right. Somebody texted me yesterday. I'm gonna put him on blast. Shouts to F What You Heard podcast. My man Randall hit me up last night. First thing he texted me was. He said, Kendrick Lamar album is fire. And I shot back and said, word? Yeah. That was my response. Because I only heard like one or two songs and I was like...
I mean, the production it's big, it's loud, it's a big production.
Happy birthday, baby.
I think Dre, I could be wrong. I think Dre he didn't produce anything, but he was there for all the mixing. And
yeah, he's on a couple tracks and stuff, and it doesn't sound like anything that he would do. Actually, to be honest, it reminds me of Nicolay.
Wow.
It's like some of the earlier songs. Yeah. But it's very modern, contemporary. It's not on some bullshit, and it is lyrical.
It's like production MoMA.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like let me ask you, let me ask you this shit. I mean, there's sometimes, and A. Kelley can talk on this. I think there are a lot of times that like somebody gets hot, and somebody says they're hot. They have one song with one person. They're the next. Yeah. Right. They're the next, or whatever. So, I mean, it's not their fault. They got to live up to it or do whatever. But I would say more times than not, they don't live up to it. But I mean, what do you think about like? Somebody gets one song and then all of a sudden like Kendrick Lamar is the next and this dude's the next and whatever. Like, I mean, do you think it's hard for the artist to live up to that, or do you think the producer knows that when they bless them, like, yo, I'm gonna give you, I'm the RZA, I'm Dre, I'm whatever, I'm gonna give you one track, boom, now obviously you're the next, Dre, MC, you're the next RZA MC, you're the next whoever.
Well, I mean, if you can't handle that kind of pressure, then you're in the wrong business anyway. So
I like that style.
Nothing's going to happen with you anyway. But I mean, I think in Kendrick's case, he's a very lyrical dude. You can tell he's very talented.
Yeah.
So like,
how old
is
he?
How old
is he?
I don't know. He's got to be
25.
Yeah, something around there.
I'd say younger than that.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
But you can tell he's not going anywhere. I mean.
No, he can ghostwrite for at least 10 more years.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I mean, it's a dope album. You can listen to it all the way through. It's like a De La Soul album, where there's like a skit every, not like a skit, but like an interlude every song.
And that is the one thing, because like you can like check out every of the tracks, and again, it like I would say it lived up to expectations, much better than say that sort of like J. Cole's debut and stuff, And a lot of these guys that come from like, I wouldn't say the mixtape world, because what is a fucking mixtape nowadays?
Your favorite person in the world, Jay Electronica.
Well, time will tell. Time will tell. I don't know. they're doing production in North Korea or something. I don't know.
Kim Jong-il.
I mean, even one of the biggest songs on that album is The Recipe with Dre, and that's like a bonus track. You know, like,
yeah.
It's good stuff, and there's a lot of other. I guess the other bits of news are just about upcoming releases. November is going to be a monster month.
Let's hear 'em.
So Christmas presents for all you hip hop heads and stuff, and you can send stuff to us brooklynprops@gmail.com. Yes. We're registered on Amazon.
Or hashtag.
Yeah.
Oh, the Wu
Block this Sunday album release.
Tomorrow album release party.
But
it's dope.
At the end of the month, we got Mr. Sean Price.
Woo.
That's Mike Tyson.
Tuesday, no? Yeah, that just leaked yesterday. I got that too.
Did you?
Oh, word.
Yo, see, that's what happens when you A. Kelly. I gotta wait till Tuesday. He got that shit on last Thursday.
I'll cop that.
Nah, whatever. Nah,
so the albums I'm definitely getting that and Physiology.
Yo, have you seen the YouTube shit of him playing tennis? Yeah. At the McEnroe Center? Yo, that shit is amazing.
Like, Lil Fame and Terminology's album. Okay. It's gonna be coming in November. Mr. Motherfucking Esquire. Rock Marciano, Styles P, Knife Wonder, Buckshot.
Guilty Simpson, Apollo Brown.
Apollo Brown, Guilty Simpson. And then Ghostface, and Talib Kweli. And then all going to be like this fall, so you know.
And there's someone in the building, I'm not going to say who will point to him, who might be A&R in the new Ghostface record. I'm pointing and looking at you, A. Kelly.
It was a premature street date of November 20th. We're thinking the beginning of next year, or hopefully sooner.
So what's the system of you A&R and that album?
I mean, basically, you know, we do a lot of stuff with Ghost. When we did, you know, Chamber Music and Legendary Weapons, he was like always the first dude we would grab because he's the easiest to get. You know, like, you know, Ghost, we need you to we need this from you. You know, like boom, and he just knocks it out. So Bob Perry, you know, the dude that I work with over at Soul Temple, he's been wanting to do a concept album for a long time, and he found this guy Adrian Young, who's a producer out in California, who did something about April, the soundtrack to Black Dynamite, and so he's
AKA
crazy talented dude. Who his shit, he does everything in tape, like he does all the old way, like no Pro Tools, no nothing. Everything is the old way, you know. So it's his music.
Straight
he makes,
real to real.
Exactly.
Real to real, baby.
It sounds like, you know, he makes stuff that sounds like what the RZA would sample. You know,
right.
It's out now. Mm-hmm. And so him and Bob went back and forth, and there's a concept for the album. I don't want to get into it yet, but we'll save it.
We'll have you back after it's been released.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? After you guys like let it out, and what the concept
is crazy. The name of the album is 12 Reasons to Die.
I think the concept is awesome. I'm not sure if that's what Ghost wants to release.
It's purple.
But,
purplish.
Purple.
So it's basically Adrian Young produced all the music, and it's Ghost going in. We got it's probably like 60% done. 70, you know, we got like dudes from wu-tang, like Killer Sin's on there, You God, Master Killer. We're gonna get everybody. Capadonna's on it. But what's great about it is it sounds like
our heroes from our youth. My man's like, you got text, you got be like, yo, why don't you come through? And
seriously, the music though, it sounds like almost like the first Gravediggers album. Like it's just like super raw. Like,
get out of here.
That's the only thing I can compare it to. Like it's super dark, grimy, raw New York City shit.
I mean, that's all.
This is totally a throwback album. You know, I'm really excited for that.
And you know, are we done with the news?
Yeah. Why don't we
Storm? We're not going to talk about the storm coming.
So let's talk about Storm again.
This might be the last Brooklyn Live podcast.
This might be the last thing you ever hear from us. We might get swept away. You know what I mean? Can you swim? You got your life
swim. Right. Well, are you guys prepared? You guys get your D batteries?
Well, for those that don't know, a hurricane is about to hit the NYC, I guess, this weekend. So I guess
Monday, Tuesday.
Trying to get prepared, I guess. I just found out about it today.
Yo, he came out. I was like, yo, it's just going to get crazy. He's like, what? I don't watch TV. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? He had no idea.
Yo, they're saying it's the storm of the century, man. They're calling it Frankenstorm because it's two different storms colliding. Yo.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They're going to fight each other and then shit on New York City.
Shit is all good.
The last hurricane was going to cause this.
That's what they said too, and nothing happened.
Big hype, man.
I mean,
so hype.
We'll see. I'm not.
I just want to give shouts to my man Daniel right here. It's his birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Old ass man. You know what I mean? Golf clap.
Sure. I guess why don't we get into the Topic.
$400.
All right. Producing. We got Mr. Andrew Kelley.
Hey, Kelly.
What up?
Fresh from working on the Man with the Iron Fist soundtrack.
Woo!
Sir.
Which is soundtrack for the new movie. I guess it's coming out this weekend.
The movie, I think,
Next
comes
weekend?
out
This weekend or next
November
weekend?
2nd. The soundtrack is in
Yeah, it's
stores
Friday,
now.
I
I think the first week it's only up for $9,
Right.
$8 iTunes. So get in. that first
Get in
week.
there.
Mm,
$8.
Get in early.
That first week cop.
Get in early.
Yeah.
Get that early
But
money.
it's a movie directed by the RZA. Kung Fu movie. Looks badass.
I saw the movie. It's
really?
It's dope.
Crazy?
It's dope.
Oh,
I
awesome.
mean, you have Russell Crowe.
If you haven't seen the trailer, please go
The trailer's
pause, YouTube that shit,
the trailer's
No.
insane.
check that shit out.
So besides, I mean, obviously the movie's coming out, but we happen to be blessed with, and thank you for that. We have one of the guys who worked on this soundtrack in the midst. My man A. Kelly is in the building. Spent some time in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? The city of angels with the RZA, the Resurrector,
Yeah.
staying at a Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right next door to the Denny's.
Extra bacon. you know
That Denny's heavy every day.
what I mean? And so tell us about like how did that connection happen? How did you get out there? Like what?
All right. So, see, what a lot of people don't know is that we did Wu-Tang Chamber music, and we did Wu-Tang Legendary Weapons, and both times RZA was involved. It was mostly us getting the music together, presenting to him, making sure he's cool with it. He comes in, he makes his little changes, whatever. But he's got so much on his plate right now. Like if you listen to any of the interviews he's been doing, he's the Captain Kirk.
Oh,
to run the enterprise, you need Sulu, you need
I like that
you
shit.
need the engineer, you need Ahura. What was it? Ahura? What was it?
How do you say Ahura?
Uhuru.
She was Ahura.
All right.
What happened?
Uhuru.
Ahura.
So basically, he's got his team and making this happen. So back in February, we started working on the third one, which was going to be called Blade on Blade. So that was
that's a good look.
So
That's a good name too.
So that was going to be the third one.
Okay.
So the stipulation was, he was leaving for China to film this movie, and he was like, for this third one, I want to.
Did they film in China?
Yeah.
Wow.
Money.
Yeah.
So,
So he was like, for this one, I want to do it with a more reggae vibe to the music. So at first we were like, wait,
I don't
what?
even know what that means.
Yeah,
Like, I would sit down at the MP and be like,
Is that like marimbas?
shut
Nah,
up.
it's like at first we were just like, oh man, like what, reggae, like Wu-Tang fans don't want to hear reggae. You know what I'm
they
saying?
don't.
Like, they want to hear soul samples and shit like
Yes.
that. But if you go back and listen to like the W and Iron Flag, there are reggae tracks on there. Like if you remember, like that song One Blood and
What's the one with my man? It's actually it's not a RZA track. There's one song that this dude did. I can't remember the name of it, but I heard like the best interview ever. I think it was with Kappa or someone. And they were like, "How did this track make it on the record?" He's like, "Yo, this dude used to sell his weed." And he came through and he had this beat, and we were like, "Let's fuck with that beat." And it ended up on the album.
Yeah, so basically,
I digress.
Yeah, so basically we were just like, shit, how are we gonna pull this off? How are we gonna do this? So Bob was, he looked out and he found this dude, DJ Short Shot, part of the Short Shot Symphony.
Shouts to Short Shot Symphony.
Yeah, this dude Shane, who's like crazy, like he knows reggae forwards and backwards, and especially the classic stuff. So our idea was like, all right, for the first two records we had the bands going in and playing soul type music, and then we would chop that up, have them do the same thing, but like classic reggae sounds.
So you got a live like session band that you're recording.
The Revelations.
And then
Incredible Brooklyn soul band.
Yeah, their song on the album with Trey Williams is phenomenal.
Yeah, like
they fucking kill
That's
shit.
incredibly
you
talented.
can't get a better name than that.
So you're having them just play out? Are they playing like scored stuff, or are they just jamming?
So basically, at this point in time, the soundtrack is not even in the picture. Like we're just all right, Blade on Blade.
That's all you're thinking about.
Yeah, exactly. So, because we thought, he's doing a soundtrack with Quentin Tarantino, he's probably just going to do it like Kill Bill, just get some couple random songs. So it wasn't even in our mind. We were like, all right, Blade on Blade. So Shane came out. I think he's in Seattle, and we came out, met him. Totally cool dude. Turns out this is the dude who I used to buy. He used to put out this series called Blood Clot Breaks and Battle Vinyl. I was buying his vinyl back in the late 90s. So like this dude knows his reggae. So like he came in, he was overseeing like the stuff with Josh and Gintis from the band. They were putting together like all these like he had all the old reggae breaks.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's have him replay it. We'll chop that up. So we started making beats for that, and that's where the beat Six Directions, or not Six Directions, Bus Shots. Like, I don't know if you heard the bonus track, this track, Bus Shots. So, like, we had that, and then we ended up making, like, 20-something different
We're not
beats.
that prepared. Andrew Kelley, we love having you over. We're like, you know, Jimmy Fallon has, like, Robert De Niro on. He's like, Taxi Driver was the best. He's like, you were in Taxi Driver? I haven't seen it. Like, I don't, remind me.
So, basically, like, they came in, they made, like, 20-something reggae joints, and, like,
wow.
I was, like, into it, but it didn't sound like a Wu-Tang album to me. You know, like, that was my fear. It's like, fans are going to get word that we're doing this reggae-sounding Wu-Tang album, and they're going to be like, come on, dude.
See you and shit.
You're supposed to just get Fourth Disciple and True Master and just speed up some soul records. That's what a Wu-Tang album needs to be. So, like, we're like, fuck, man, what are we going to do? So, some of the stuff was cool. We sent it out to Ghost. Ghost jumped on some stuff. We played all of it for, like, any of the Wu guys that came through, we played for it, and they were loving it, because they're all huge reggae fans.
Right.
How fast does Ghost turn around a track?
Fast. Like, you know, we sent him, like...
8 seconds.
We sent him, like, 8 beats. He comes back with, like, 4 verses within, like, a week. You know, like, it's just boom. And, you know, crazy
Shouts
verses.
to Ghost.
He just goes in. So, we were just like, you know, it's got to be dark. You know, it's got to be... It's hard to make reggae sound dark and evil.
Right.
It's usually like...
Shabba!
Yeah,
Your
you know
face.
what I'm saying?
It's like flip-flops.
Yeah.
Fucked up is right when you listen to like the scientists and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You can only be so tough in flip-flops.
Exactly. So that was
Jimmy,
like the conflict.
Jimmy Buffett. You know what I mean?
So like the music was sounding like a reggae album that had some hip hop elements, but you know, like Bob was saying, it needs to be a Wu-Tang album with just a little Jamaican jerk seasoning on it.
It's not the born Jamaicans.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The born Jamaicans. There you go.
Oh man, how you bringing it back? The Born
Boom
Americans.
shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka.
Yeah.
Hey Kelly, taking it back, man. Obscure music for 400, Alex. Thank you.
So then basically we were like, all right, let's reach out to this dude Frank Dukes, because he's like this guy who he works with this band called Bad Bad Not Good.
Oh yeah, they do the jazz sort of.
They do like jazz, soul, everything. Like another group of guys that are extremely talented. So we brought him in. Like, hey, let's, you know, you have experience working with a live band and making like dope beats out of it. Let's see if we can, you know, it'll work with, you know, the Revelations. So they did a whole session. They had a whole day long session. I was at work over at E1. I got to this, you know, studio, and I was like, you know, so how's it going? And Josh was just like, you're gonna like these. So what he played was the beats that would become, you know, Built for This, the Method Man Freddie Gibbs joint, Six Directions of Boxing, which was the Posse cut, the Archer, which was the Kill joint.
Yo, besides having the best songs of all time, the Wu-Tang Clan, they have the best names of songs. I'm gonna say, you know what I mean?
It was funny with Built for This. That was just what Frank Dukes named the beat. It was like, oh, this sounds like Built for This. And so when we sent, you know, we got Method Man on it. We got Street Life on it. Whatever. We sent the track to Freddie Gibbs. We didn't know what the song was going to be called. We just labeled it Built for This. And Freddie Gibbs just got the track.
Like Malcolm at the
Built for This. We write the whole hook.
Coming for me. My time is money, no Audemars.
I mean, honestly, like, you give somebody that name, that kind of, I mean, that is, you want to be involved in that.
So when I heard that shit, when I heard that beat, that meth beat, like I was like, this is now Blade on Blade. It sounds like we got dark sounding reggae type joints. Now I'm excited. We're all like, yo, this is coming together, and then boom, like everything just flipped up. Because now RZA now is like, hey, I'm gonna put this soundtrack out. I got this Kanye joint. I got this Black Keys joint. I got the Crim Baby.
Did he come through and like commandeer everything you were working on for Blade? Blade like, this is mine?
Nah, it wasn't like that at all. He was just like, I have these like 3 or 4 songs. I got the Kanye joint. He had like part of a song with like Wiz Khalifa. Like, I got these pieces, but you know, I got to finish editing. I got to finish filming all that. I want you guys to do the soundtrack, because originally he was going to do it with a whole other label that fell apart. So now he's like, yo, let's start a new label. Let's make a soundtrack.
Soul Temple. Shouts to Soul Temple.
So now we're just like, fuck, what are we going to do? Snoop Dogg comes out and makes an announcement that he's now a reggae artist.
Oh, he's Snoop Lion.
So now we're just like, fuck, you know, like he's going to come out with like a Diplo, Major Lazer album, and then we're going to come with a reggae album. Like, it's not a good look. So that was the end of Blade on Blade. Right. So then we ended up taking all those best pieces and making them for the soundtrack. So that's how those songs came together. So like The Archer, Six Directions of Boxing, Built for This, those were all just tracks that were supposed to be on Blade for Blade. And then Bus Shots, which was one actually that Shane made, that was also supposed to be on Blade on Blade.
So how do you get So what's the process of?
So it was really more like a time thing. Like he was like, "Yo, I need the soundtrack done. Like, what do you got?" So we're like, "All right."
So you get out to LA. Have you been to LA before?
Yeah, like I've been in LA a bunch of times, but this was the first time
specifically for
music.
So you get out there, and what happens? You're like, where's the lab? Like, do you get scooped up? What
no, it was basically like we had a week to go out there to present everything that we had been working on to RZA,
right,
and make sure he's cool with it because he was wrapping up the score for the album.
Right.
So, we had all these songs, it was like me, Bob, and Arnold, the engineer, loaded up all the hard drives, flew out there, and, it was dope, because the studio was
So
crazy.
it's like Pro Tools files and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Like all the files, all the songs, go up there, get to the studio, load it all up, and then, and he comes, we just start breaking down, like, all right, we got this song, whatever.
So he's executive producing this. So what does that entail? Like, what's up? Like the producer, I guess you would say, is a person that actually constructs the beat.
Right.
And then when during that process does the executive producer jump in?
I mean, I think like for a good example would be 6 Directions of Boxing, where we had a session with. In Brooklyn, at the studio with Capadonna, Master Killer, Jizza.
Were y'all at Williamsburg?
Yeah, they all came through. Ghost, we already had Ghost verse because he had recorded it for Blade on Blade, but it still worked. So he jumped on that. But
we just had the file and you just plug it in whenever you need.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't have deck yet, and we were hoping to get RZA to jump on it. So when we were playing the song, like he hears it and he's like, it's dope, but you can move. Like when you hear Master Killer and RZA come in, like the music kicks in. That wasn't there before. He was like, yo, you should move that underneath their verses to bring it up. You should move this guy.
So he gives a little bit here and
change the
there.
order. You know what I'm saying? Of the rappers on it.
Right.
And then when Deck came in, originally I had Capadonna working, but I was like, yo, Capadonna comes out. To me, it feels like
Right.
So when we got Deck's verse,
You let the man truck
at the last second, Deck killed it.
So like the order in terms really goes down like in the studio, like it's more
He's
about
the
like
gentleman.
energy.
He comes in and he's running shit.
Like we were presenting him ideas and just trying to catch his ear with different ideas and stuff like that. And most of the time he's like, yeah, I trust you guys. You guys came through on Chamber Music and Legendary Weapons. Like it's not like you guys are fucking just some jerks on the block.
Yeah, nah, you're not the new block.
Yeah, exactly. So he was into it. It wasn't like we had to like twist his arm. Like he was into it.
I mean, that's cool that there's actually like open ideas, and he just doesn't come in and beast on kids and do whatever. You know what I mean? Like you're saying. I mean, you've got a proven record. I mean, you've worked on 2 albums already, so he knows your resume. You know what I mean? It's not like he's coming in like, who the fuck is this kid? Or who's this or whatever. You know what I mean? That's a beautiful thing.
Man, the soundtrack is really diverse. Like, was that something going in that y'all wanted to do?
I mean, basically, we wanted it to be, every song is a wu-tang song,
Right.
Just make it as hip-hop and Wu-Tang as possible. But, at the end of the day, it is a soundtrack, and it's not a Wu-Tang album, so you have to, like...
Because, I mean, you got, like, the Black Keys...
That was RZA.
Kanye West.
Yeah, apparently him and the Black Keys have like 9 or 10 songs. That was one of the songs.
So I know. I mean, if you ever seen if you ever heard of like the Black Rock album?
Yeah, I've only heard a couple times.
Yo, they did webisodes. They did like the documentary on the whole thing, and like when he got in there, honestly for me it was the craziest thing because he got in there and obviously the Black. Listen, that's my favorite group.
Right.
Like right now, like that's my favorite group. And he got in there and he was like,
"Did you see the video?"
He was like, "Yo, give me a guitar real quick." He's like, "Give me a guitar real quick." And he was just like, I don't think he knows how to play guitar at all. I don't know how to play guitar. He was just like, and it was something that anybody could do, but nobody could do. You know what I mean? It was like exactly this little twinge on this string that made that song set it off.
Right.
You know, it was like bang, bang. And it was that simple thing, looped it, put it in there, and then he just killed the song. It was crazy. I mean, but I could tell the vibe with them, like they got along like crazy. You know what I mean? So that doesn't surprise me that you're saying like they have, shit stacked up.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like Wiz Khalifa's on here, Pusha T, the Flatbush Zombies.
I don't know.
How did that come about? They're like, they're kind of like a regional, local little Brooklyn thing. And stuff. I mean, how did with the song Just Blowing in the Wind?
Yeah, it was basically RZA had already done Blowing in the Wind, And he gave us the files for it because part of the beat is part of the score. So he had released it, I think, like months ago. It's him just on that beat or whatever. And we were just like, you know, I love the Flatbush Brothers. I love that joint, Doug Waffle. Like, I saw that, and I'm like,
Doug Waffle. That is a great.
You gotta see the video. The video's crazy. So we're like, oh, we should get them on that track because it was, you know, it doesn't. It's not, you know, a wu-tang beat. You know, it's not like something. It's got a little electronic feel to it.
It's like new grave digger shit.
Exactly. So when they jumped on it, they were like super into it. Very humble dudes, like they were, you know, so excited.
So I mean, how did that process? Was it just like an email you send out?
Just call them up, got them in there, and they got on it. And then when we were out in LA, you know, like, all right, here's one of the rooms, got Black and Johnson. Originally, I wasn't familiar with them, so I showed him the video for Thug Waffle, and he saw, like, you know, the scene dude wearing the fangs. He was like, oh, these dudes are like the great dudes. He's loving it, you know, like,
That's
so
crazy.
Man, so it's crazy. The Mabel John track, like the soul, and there's a Corinne Ray Bailey. Like,
yeah, Corinne Ray was another person.
Was it intentional to get like some like just pure like songs on the track? You know,
I mean,
that more
like that was one of the ones that he came with. He came with about like 5 or 6 songs. A couple of them didn't make the cut for various reasons, but that was one of the ones that he had. Like, you know, this is going to be on the album. She actually like he showed her like part of the movie while they were still working on it, and she was inspired by the scene. She wrote the song.
She's great. How many songs are on the soundtrack?
13, 15.
Yeah, we had about like 20 or
15.
so.
Yeah, it's $8 right now.
Yeah,
Boom, yo, go right now.
No,
Go get that shit. Mary Diane Fist soundtrack.
I'm telling
you,
you,
get
like,
it. iTunes.com.
I bought it because of the Mabel John song.
Yo,
it's just fucking bananas.
I didn't buy it. I borrowed it.
It's
and I released
it. It really is. It's bananas.
I'm just holding it for somebody, and I'll give it back to them.
So I mean, the process of sort of like thinking of artists to get on like Idol Worships on the soundtrack and stuff, and that generally wouldn't have been a name or a group that I would think, you know, would. It's like, oh, when I saw the trailer, I wasn't thinking like, yo, Fort Greene, Brooklyn, like, you know,
I mean,
head wraps and dreadlocks and stuff. How does that come about? Is it just like, you know, these are people that you wanted to work with, or was it like more like a good fit? Somebody pitched them to you?
No, I mean, basically that was another beat that Frank Dukes made. Frank Dukes came with like a bunch of beats, and we grabbed a couple. One of them, you know, already had a Ghost verse on it because he was working on a side project with Ghost. So the joint Rivers of Blood.
Shouts to my man Dukes.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. So, you know, we got the Ghost verse, went and got Raekwon, and then it's just like,
come a little quicker than that.
Ghost to Raekwon. Like, I was just like, dude, we got to get G-Rap on this. You know, like, just,
that was bananas.
Oh, that shit is so tough.
So you had like G-Rap, MOP, like just some thorough cats on there. What was
Pharaoh
it like?
Monch, you know, like,
yeah.
Well, Pharaoh Monch, I wanted on Legendary Weapons. Like Legendary Weapons, I wanted a Ghostface, J Electronica, Pharaoh Monch track. Like that's what I was dying for that. But like it just fell through. You know, it just didn't happen. So like now, next opportunity, like yo, let's try to get Pharaoh on this. You know,
who took the longest to turn around a verse? Did it ever get to the point where you
there's some Oprah shit?
Where you were like,
no, you know what? It was probably Deck, but in a good way. Just because, you know, we sent him Bust Shots, and it had, you know, Ghost and Chic on it because I wanted a Wu Block track. I was like, yo, we got to make a Wu Block record because you know Wu Block is coming out, people will be excited for it. And then Six Directions of Boxing was the posse cut, and we got to get Deck on it. So we sent him both those tracks. And it was, I think it was like 2 weeks of just like every day calling him like, dude, we're mastering. Like, when are we gonna get these verses? And then like, yo, it's coming. And it never came. And then finally, like when it was the 11th hour, we got the word from Deck that like, yo, he was basically like, you know, this is for RZA's movie. Like, I'm taking my time with this. So like, I want to make sure that
does
this
he
is
just
fire.
Does he just like send you guys a file? Like, how
yeah, I mean,
he doesn't.
In the past, he came to the studio, but you know, we're out in LA at this point. You know,
Right.
So we're like, dude, we need.
So he goes to a studio here, does whatever, like
Yeah.
they just upload it and like send it to you.
Exactly.
So I got 2 questions for Andrew Kelley right now.
Oh shit.
I got 2 questions.
But like, you know, before Deck fucking killed that shit.
Deck is.
And he was just like, listen, like this is a serious thing. I'm not just sending you some bullshit verses that you can have. I can record. Like, I'm taking my time with this, and you can tell like the quality is that. Like, he kills both tracks.
2 questions for A. Kelley. 2 questions. Number 1. Who is the artist that you want to work with the most? The one that you haven't. I mean, you've been super blessed, obviously, to work with a bunch of people.
Right.
If there was one artist, you were like, that's the project I want to do. That's the person I want. And it might even be someone you've already done a project with that you love that person. But who is it if you were like, I'm doing just an album with this artist?
Killer Sin.
Woo! That is out the box. Mm. That is definitely out the box, people.
Very underrepresented member.
Dude, I've been waving his flag. I wanted him on chamber music. He was locked up for chamber music, so we couldn't get him.
That is
Legendary Weapons. He came through and just killed shit.
You got a solo joint in that joint, right?
Yeah, it was the only one. Pretty much.
I mean, that is something that no one who was waiting on that question to be answered thought that. Now here's the next question: who are you working with next? What's the next project?
I mean, the Ghostface thing is on its way. I actually have a Cameron mixtape that me and Cam did that it has not come out yet. We've been basically negotiating.
What's he doing? What's Cam at?
He was actually a little MIA for a little while, and then now he's back in New York. He was down in Miami for a while, just doing stuff. But I have a whole CD. I have a whole CD.
Smashing in Miami.
Buying jerseys.
Just smashing. He's at Live, just smashing.
He's like, you know, the Heat.
I'm not saying that's what he did, but if I was Cam, I'd be down there smashing.
I think it was more on some family stuff, but
was it?
I'm sure he found time for that.
That's all good.
Get out the wet wipes.
Shouts to Cam.
Yeah, so
shouts to Cam smashing.
I have a whole basically CD with him, where basically I have all these tracks that I remixed, and I got exclusive stuff people have never heard.
Okay. I
got Pro Tools sessions from Purple Haze album to mix freestyles, like all kinds of shit people have never heard that I put together, remixed, and basically we're trying to figure out exactly how we can put it out, and we've been negotiating that for like a month or so now. So
I like that. I like that style. Check out that BlackBerry, A. Kelley, on blast.
But yeah, Killer Sin all day, man. I mean, that's that dude.
I love Killer Sin.
He's cool, and he just when he comes in.
Let me ask you this: how much is that when it comes to like, say there was like 3 MCs, one is the biggest MC in the world, the other 2 are great MCs, but one is way easier to work with. The other 2 are easier to work with. Would you pick the easier to work with?
Yeah,
who's a good one?
Every time.
Word.
Because that's what at the end of the
you
day you're going to be stuck spending hours.
Like what makes an MC easier to work with?
Like
that's why I fucks with my dude.
They're respectful of your time.
Yeah.
So that means that you're on time, motherfuckers. You're on time.
Buy a watch. Y'all got all that bread. You got blinged ass watches. Make
or
sure
at least
look
let somebody know something.
Yeah.
Text a motherfucker.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and also someone who's gonna have this guaranteed talent. Like they're just gonna come through. You don't have to worry about like, all right, what are we getting today?
Consistency.
I think there's a lot of MCs that don't look at it as a job. Like, this professionalism. Like, this is a job.
I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that like, if you get them up like at 10 in the morning and tell them to be somewhere, that's just not going to happen.
Right.
They got to get a little smoking, a little drinking,
but at the same time,
or they got to be around
don't say
like 15
you won't be there at
dudes.
10 a.m. and you come and do it at 1. You're like, yo, we got to get a mimosa, and then we'll have a blunt, and then we'll do whatever. I got to go buy me another pinky ring, for my other pinky, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's also...
I mean, that's how I do that. I was just talking about this morning. That's how I did my morning this morning, so I don't know what y'all did. Do you know what I mean?
Pinky rings and mimosas.
Extra pinky rings.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's also someone who can take criticism,
Oh, yeah.
Are they going to come in and be like, what do you mean you don't like how I said that?
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, any kind of that attitude, like, you don't have time for that, because at the end of the day, it's, someone is investing money into the project, and
I think it's always a process, too. Like, you really have to, if someone gives you constructive criticism, like, you have to, like, let that ego go out the door. Like, I'll be I'm not the biggest artist in the world, but, like, Charlie, shouts to Charles, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
DJ Fuck Nasty. But, like, we were recording, like, the last shit we did, and he was like, that might be him right there. Oh, yo, speak of the motherfucking devil on live.
That was not
Yo,
planned.
kid, we're on the podcast. We just talking about you. Where you at?
Out front.
Yo, let me in. Yo, do me a favor. Let him in. Yo, so here it is. So, I mean, this dude right here was, I'm kind of a one-hit guy. Like, I jump in the lab. I always write my shit that way, and, like, I knock it out. But, The big one, yeah. That's what she said.
Whoa.
And hi yo. And Charlie would be like, yo, that shit's not good enough. It's not good enough. And he'd grab me and he'd be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? You want to be great like it. You know what I mean? And he hyped us up like it made the songs, but the songs would not have been the songs.
I mean, does that happen a lot with producers where they're like kind of coaching MCs?
I mean, an example would probably be on the Rivers of Blood track. When we brought it out to California, we didn't have any hook on there. And if you listen to that track, it's just these crazy horns that Frank Goose put together that, they're all totally off kilter and crazy. And all we had was, Ghost, Ray, and G-Rap on there, no hook. So we're just like, yeah, you gotta have a hook on there. Like, that was just the problem with Legendary Weapons and Chamber Music. Having no hooks. So we're like, alright, fuck, you wanna do something? He's like, alright, yeah, let me get in the booth. So he busted out a hook, and it wasn't up to the standards of the rest of the music album. And, he's even said in a couple interviews,
it was like red light. It was that drive-through hook.
It was
that drive-through
red light, green light, my mic, red light, blue light.
Like, hey, it's a hook.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a hook. Here's Cool G-Rap.
Yeah,
exactly. Are you serious?
2 to the 1. We get it done.
1 to the 2. What's up, Pippin?
We were not 100% sold on this. And, it was funny. He recorded it and then, went out the door to go have dinner. Came back and had a bunch of people with him. And it was like, yo, play that shit. So, play it. And I could see in his eyes that he was just like, yeah, this ain't working. But, he still was just like, all right, it's good for now. And he told me, just like, yo, just leave it for now. We'll redo it. So, when we got back to Brooklyn, we were like, fuck, we gotta finish this hook. So we brought in, AZ came in, he did a version of the hook. And it was okay, fault. It just wasn't really where we needed it. Bob actually found some singer dude on the subway platform who was singing, and he was just like, yo, you got a crazy voice, just come to the studio. And he came in.
He's like, I'll pay you in M&M's. Yo, come upstairs.
It wasn't what we needed, you know what I'm saying? So then, I was like, what the fuck we need to do for this hook? And then I thought, I went back and listened to Jizz's first album, and Investigative Reports.
Investigative Reports.
With You God on the hook, where he's just kind of saying shit,
Snow blowing, cash dancing, no go forward.
So I'll get some real. You God was we were recording something else that night. I think his part for something. I think his part for.
Your hands are terrible. That's why you play for the Cowboys.
And he came through. We're like, yo, this is the hook we need. We need something like this. And he was like, something along Investigative Reports.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right. So he came in and did his part, and we were like, yo, me and Fame were like, that's perfect. And Bob was like, no. Make it even simpler. And then he went back and made it even simpler, and then it was perfect. So he was, he took direction. He was cool with it. And at the end of the day, it's a dope hook. But we had to go through all those steps just to get there.
I mean, I think, honestly, I think it depends on, your age as an artist, how you came up as an artist. I'm sure there are some artists that, you can't tell them shit.
Yeah,
you're not telling Drake shit. You're not telling Wayne shit. You're not giving him direction.
2 Chainz does not take direction well.
2 Chainz, that is my favorite rapper.
It's it ain't 3 Chainz, motherfuckers. 2.
He's like, my name ain't 1 Chainz, motherfuckers. 2 Chainz, baby. How I got 2? But, I got 2 Chainz. I got the 2 Chainz, man.
I want to know the transition from Titty Boi to 2 Chainz.
What makes you want to make that change? I bet you it's a contract
his name Titty Boi?
Well, his name was Titty Boi.
Or maybe he finally realized that Titty Boi on a flyer just isn't projecting what he probably intended.
I got my San Fran on right now, so I'm going to rep for my ex-girl. Her brother, shouts to Sean out of San Fran. His best friend it's my man Titty Boi. And his daughter calls him. I'm like, who's that right there? He's like, Uncle Titty Boi. That's what she calls him. He's known as that. He is known as that. That's Uncle Titty Boi.
Yeah.
Boom.
I don't know.
Somebody should have said something. Titties just doesn't.
Yo, he's got huge titties though. He's doing his thing.
I mean, that's what Uncle Murder's going through that now. He's like Uncle M.
Oh, because Murder. It's the whole Smith and Wesson thing. Cocoa Brothers shit.
It's the rebranding.
Cellar dwellers.
Can't get that corporate money with a name like Murder or Titty.
So that's
listen,
why
Microsoft. I'm gonna tell y'all how to get loot. Yeah, you can't get the Microsoft gig.
Uncle Murder. Damn, he had a lot of heat. There's a lot of Brooklyn dudes. Him, Mano, My Song.
What happened to that dude?
Fuck.
Yo, did you see when they had
I think My Song's from the Bronx.
Yo, was it Mano when they had It was the MTV thing when it was almost like a documentary shit. And it was like a dude who's like, I'm gonna follow people, like vegan farmer, and Mano smacked the shit out of him at the show.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit, this dude just got worked out. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, I think he works at Crunch Fitness now.
Yeah, I think that dude works at the bodega on Montague.
Smacking people up. Are there any producers out there that you would love to like
collabo with?
Yeah, like get in a room with Alchemist.
Ooh,
yeah, he's been
have
doing
you seen that? Have you seen that Action Bronson Alchemist
video?
That
shit is crazy. Man.
My man, with the coke, my man's like, yo, that shit is fucking delicious.
That dude is just in some crazy. He's got like albums after albums that are just in the can, ready to come out. Like, he's got a whole thing with fucking Action Bronson that's coming.
Right.
He got another one with Boldy James.
Right.
He just did the one with the dude from Odd Future.
Right.
You know, like he's just in a crazy zone. Like I would just love to be the fly on the wall. I mean, I've met him a couple times because I did some artwork for him or whatever. And he was totally cool. It was like, just like, you know, he just looks at you like, oh, you're an artist, I'm an artist.
Where's he from, actually? Is he from the West Coast or no?
He's from out.
LA or something?
Yeah. He has a very interesting
So I would just love to see his process. I mean, I've seen his shit on YouTube and stuff like that. It just seems real organic and just like, he just goes in and just makes crazy shit, you know?
What's his, he came under, Muggs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's Muggs, right? Yeah.
Soul Assassin.
Yeah, he's a Soul Assassin, yeah. Look at this kid. Sorry, we're watching the Greatest Cocktail.
So, like,
Party.
other than production, you earn your living like doing like artwork and stuff like that.
Design.
So how has that sort of changed with the sort of disappearance of physical product, and the disappearance of like actual physical storefronts? Like, how has that impacted like the business of graphic design and music marketing?
Look at that intelligent question. Have you heard that question? That was amazing.
That was a good one. No, I mean, now you really have to be conscious of what your artwork is going to look like, the size of a stamp.
Right.
Because that's how people are going to see it on their phone. That's how people are going to see it on iTunes. And
wow, that's deep. That's deep.
You gotta, like, really think
that
about
is
that.
deep.
You know, you can't have tiny little script lettering anymore. Like, you got to really, the more bolder and the more
Roman is done.
Pops, like the better you're going to do for your artist or whatever. So there's that. And there's also the fact that, people, there are still collectors out there that want vinyl, that want the CD physical thing. And what's really caking right now is, like, you can go right now to Soul Temple Music, and there's all these different...
Is it SoulTempleMusic.com?
Yes, sir.
SoulTempleMusic.com,
you can go on there, and there's different packages you can get. You can get the double vinyl, you get the instrumental, you get the score, you get the CDs.
So who makes that decision of, like, is it the artist is like, I want vinyl... I don't give a fuck, or is it something?
I would say it's not the artist. I'm just going to butt in, but I would say it's not. It's somebody who's doing the business side.
Exactly.
The artist is like, I'm done with this record.
Exactly.
Do whatever the fuck you want to do with it.
On the
make
business
five
side,
CDs, make 50 CDs, do whatever you want.
On the business side, Bob has got to be like, well, how many different ways can we get this out there to people out there, and because there's people out there that want to buy those collector's editions. I mean, look at that Raekwon purple tape pack. That thing sold out in a day.
Yeah.
I remember that shit was genius. I had one of those. And
they reissued like a blowout cone.
Which address?
That did real well. Like a lot of the old reissues get mad love and stuff. But like, what characteristics would deem an artist sort of like vinyl worthy? Because like I'm sure there's no vinyl for like Trap God by Gucci Mane.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, Joey Badass is not pressing up 12 inches.
If you're doing rock, if you're doing soul. If you're doing jazz, if you're doing like real New York City type hip hop, like there's going to be a want for vinyl.
Okay.
So there's going to be people want that, and we've seen it. Like we did this whole thing for the Man with the Iron Fist soundtrack, where you can get all these different packages, and people from all over the world are ordering this thing. And the funny thing is, people like they were just like, all right, I'm just going to get the $35 version because there's like $35, there's an $80. You get different versions, and then they came back and hit us up like,
why
I want that $80 one, man. I want everything. It's just that some people are just collectors. They just want to have the product. And, one of the versions is like, silk screen version of like the score and stuff. And it looks crazy.
Wow,
so,
that's crazy.
So it seems like that's not really going to go away.
I don't think so. It'll eventually just slow down like everything is.
Right.
So let me ask, we've asked like who you wanted, but you said Killer Sim, but like, is that your dream? Like, what is your dream project? Is Killer Sim, your dream, like shut it down. You did this, next day hit by a bus and you're like, I'm good. That's the one.
I don't know. I just love that. I love the underdog. He is the underdog. He's never had a mixtape. He's never had an album.
Dual album with Mickey Ward.
Retardedly, incredibly talented. I mean, the dude, he was making shit up on the spot. That's just crazy. Like how he puts his words together, and the voice is crazy, and like he's a cool dude. and he just wrecks shit. You know, so I want to see that dude succeed.
I think that's probably just seeing the way that you talk about it, and you know, I haven't been around a lot of like famous producers or whatever the case, but if I was a famous producer, shouts to A. Kelly, I would want to like build and like see somebody win that I love being around, who I think one is successful, and just like I'm like, yo, you're cool as shit. I know it's gonna be an easy project, and you should win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to get my foot in the door, man. You know, like that's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying it to my man.
Yo, you the Yeti right now. As far as we concerned, you the Yeti. You know what I mean?
Nah. Like I'm not in the house yet. I'm in the pool house.
Let me tell you something right now. You're in the guest house.
Yeah, I'm in the guest house.
Let me tell you something right now. You put your big toe in, I'm ski masking it up. I'm coming through right behind you. Won't you put a big toe in? I'm wrecking shop.
I'm really just trying to learn as much as I can. Like, you know, I'm
God
in
bless.
the studio a lot
God
with
bless.
Lil Fame, and I just, you know, sit back and just watch him chop on the MPC, and I'll call that a great day. You know, I'm just trying to learn.
So
you know, when I was down in LA with RZA, I was just trying to like soak up as much knowledge and get him to tell as many fucking old school wu-tang stories as possible. You know, like I just wanted to hear about that.
Yo,
shit, you know?
So are those like Lil Fame, like you say, he's chopping up on the MPs? Are people bringing him beats? He's just chopping up samples. He's just still finding shit.
He's a great producer, man. Like,
is he just finding them? Is he just
MOP,
running the
man.
vinyl?
Right.
If you love MOP, you love his production. You know? So he's just chopped shit up on the MPC. Like we were working on a project Thursday night. I can't get into, but he just hears shit, and it's like almost like an idiot savant. Like I don't know if that's the way to put it, but like you just hear.
I'm gonna tell Fame you said that. I'm gonna tell Fame you said that. It's fucked up.
No, he knows what it is. Like he just hears shit, you know, and just to see someone like who can hear something and work on something in a totally
And it's
different
just
way
like
than
it just
what
clicks
you would
on him.
approach
Yeah.
it. You know, like it's just fascinating to me. So I'm just trying to learn.
So
and I'm telling you right now, just on a side note, and MOP should know this. I don't know how every boxer on the planet does not come into the ring listening to Annie Up.
Yeah.
That makes me want to punch my mother in the mouth. I mean, I love
he
him.
toured the world on that song. You know, like.
So is it a trend now to work with like session musicians and then sample them? Is that
because the sample people are just like, you know, why are they using a live band? Why can't they just flip samples?
Well, because you don't got to pay for the sample, right?
Is that, or like even if you try to be sneaky about it, like they'll come back and sue the shit out of you. You know, like it's just not.
I mean, is it true?
You gotta be careful.
I don't know the knowledge. Like if I had somebody come in here with the trumpet and play Miles Davis and I sampled that, I don't got to pay nothing?
You might have to pay like the usage of the masters and all that shit. But, I mean, it's just like,
I
you know,
do
you want to come in and spend all your money on clearing samples, or do you want to come in and spend your money on the features? You know, like that's what you have to look at. I think a lot of fans don't get that. It's just like, you know, it's like, oh, you know, chamber music didn't have, you know, Capadonna, didn't have Method Man on it. You know, Legendary Weapons, you know, didn't have, you know, Jizz on it. You know,
I think a lot of people.
What's wrong with you guys? Why don't you want them on your album? You know, it's like, what do you mean? Why? Of course we want them on the album.
I think a lot of people don't realize, like, it's a business.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's give it a set budget, and you have to make the most out of that budget. You know, so do you want to spend half of your budget clearing samples?
You're like, you know why we didn't have all those people on there? Because one of your friends bought this album, and 80 of you burned it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or bootlegged it.
That's why, like, people got to go out and buy this soundtrack because
right now, everybody listening to this right now, all 12 of you, and this guy in Costa Rica, you got a fan in Costa Rica, right?
Yeah. What's up, Kevin?
Yo, what's up, Kevin? Kevin in Costa Rica and Joey in, I think it's Japan or some shit.
Yeah.
Yo, go on right now, buy this Man with the Iron Fist soundtrack, support my man A. Kelly. Everything else, pump everything else you got.
Well,
you got Legendary Weapons.
Well, it's just like when you go out and you buy this soundtrack, you're making it easier for us to
continue
get investment on further dope, you know, hip hop projects.
And I'll say this. Like, it's something that, you know, you can buy for people that might be on the edge. You know what I mean?
No,
they're not like all the way. They're not ready to go out and get like Prodigy's new shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're familiar with. They might have caught them at like Rock the Bells and stuff because it's a very diverse. I'm just saying like the soul songs on there sold me.
And for
like straight up. But the rest of the soundtrack is really good. It
That's
really
what I'm
is.
saying. Like,
it really
it's
is.
people, they hate how all day, every day it's Drake, Nicki Minaj, and
Yeah,
on the radio.
yeah.
And they're like, I wish there was some real hip hop. Well, here's some real hip hop shit. Some real music shit. Go support it, and you make it easier for us to make more of it.
Let me put it. It's out there. Like I honestly, I would equate it to. I'm a huge boxing fan, right? So when I run into somebody who's like, boxing sucks, and there's no real boxing, there's no heavyweights, I'm like, listen, if you want good boxing, like there's some lightweights to get it done. There's some middleweight. You know what I mean? Like Danny Garcia. Like I was at the fucking Barclays Center last week.
Watching
Danny Garcia knocked Eric Morales the fuck out. If you want to look for it, you can find it. If you want to look for good hip hop, it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there.
People are making it.
You can find the Vincent Alvarez of hip hop. He's out there.
Matthew Ragazzino was in the building.
Yo, one of my favorite
Where
albums,
I'm from.
One of my favorite albums recently is that OC Apollo.
Oh,
woo! Trophies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Trophies.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That was my favorite. Last year was what? Rock Marciano? Or was that 2 years ago?
No, that was before that.
All right, and then last year was Cool Rap's fucking last album. Like those are that's my shit.
OC is one of my. I think he's one of the most slept on. Like his voice, his delivery. Like Jules is one of the most slept on albums of all time.
Yeah, but
like that is.
On Trophies, he's not. He's
never going to change.
Crazy lyrical.
I mean, you have certain MCs that are never going to change. Like Rakim, way before his time. Like back in the day, he was Nas getting this thing on. Blah, blah, blah. He's never going to change. I mean, you have certain MCs that are never going to change. OC, Ghost, Ray. I mean, there's certain people that are not going to change.
Yeah, the Rivers of Blood track, we sent that shit to G-Rap. We got it back the next day later. He just rolls out of bed and just murders shit.
I think Cool G-Rap has like a recording app on his phone. He just drives through. He's like,
I mean, they're like thoroughbreds. These guys.
Like if you go listen to Rivers of Blood, listen to line by line the shit he is saying on there, and crazy.
And he does something. I put Marcus onto this shit.
Spin you bitches around like a ballroom dinner dance. Like what?
Yo, my man Marcus was like, he's like, yo, why do I love Doom and why do I love Cool G Rap? I'm like, yo, he double rhymes it. He's like, what the fuck does that mean? Yo, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, the ill shit, the spill kit. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's the hardest shit in the world to do because now you got two. Anybody can write like 16 bars. You going A bars, bung, A bars, bung, A bars. When you got to double it and doubling it the way he does, like
that was
it's crazy.
I mean, I gotta give it up to the artists that are all on the album, just because they didn't look at
Shouts
it.
That album.
I'm fucking catching a check real quick, whatever. It was like, yo, this is for RZA's movie.
Yeah.
I gotta come correct. So people like I was saying, like Dak, G-Rap, even Pharoah Monch, like people just
Pharaoh's verse is crazy.
Yeah, he was cool as hell in the studio too. He came.
What's
through.
his name?
Pharaoh's verse.
Who's that?
Pharoah Monch.
Pharoah Monch.
Pharaoh Sanders. Pharaoh Sanders was crazy on the track.
Pharoah Monch? That guy sounds great.
I mean, basically, we sent the track. It was just Ghost and MOP. We sent it to him, and we're like, we'd love to have you on this. And, I wanted him on there just because I knew he would just come through and kill it. And I knew, he's done tracks with MOP. But, there's never been, like, a wu-tang, Pharoah Monch collaboration. So, it was like, let's make this happen.
Honestly,
but like
that seemed to take over the world right there.
But at the same time, it's like, it's Pharoah Monch. He's not going to come through with the gun clap shit.
No. Yeah, he always gives a little knowledge.
And he killed it.
I mean, Pharoah Monch is funny. He has the like perfect balance of everything he's always done. He's like the super gully, but he's not gully. He just gets it done.
He's like a guard at the Vatican. He can fuck you up, but he just won't do that.
You know what I mean? He's the dudes, and he's in front of the palace in England. He's like, I'm not going to flinch, but when I get off, I'm setting it off right now. Like I'm not going. I mean, he is that.
Even his manager was saying, is like, usually like it takes him a while to write shit. But when he heard this and he heard the track and he knew it was for his movie,
I think honestly,
he was on his shit.
I think it's probably different for like you were saying. You were asking like how long was the turnaround and things like that.
Yeah.
Listen, this guy's one of the best MCs I've ever known in my life, and it's true. It's true.
Oh, quick with the sound effects. I love it.
I was pointing my face, but we have But I mean, I think it's there are times when like someone will come through with like, yo, Charlie used to come through with like Nicolay shit. He's like, I want you to work on this beat, and I was like, that beat kind of sucks. Ooh. I don't really like that beat. It's not our kind of beat. Or if there's a beat right away like we love, I'm like, I could write 18 verses to that beat.
Right.
It wouldn't even take me a second. I could sit down within an hour and write you hooks, verses, everything right away. It depends on what you're passionate about. You know what I mean? Even if it's your job and like that's what you do, if you were really feeling it, like, listen, we all have that experience. When we hear something right now, like whatever you're talking about or whatever we're talking about, any verse or any beat we put on right now, as much as we love all hip hop, if there's a new fresh beat, the second it comes on, we're like, oh shit,
something that
it sparks something in you. You know what I mean? Whether you're an MC or not, or a producer or not, you know what I mean? Like right away, you're like, oh, that's my shit.
So I'm curious, like, you know, with guys like A-Rap Music getting a lot of pub for beating on the MPC, have you seen like a trend in production, like going back to like the old school like boxes, or are people still heavily invested in like, you know, the computer hardware and the Mac game?
I think it's just, you know, with all the different types of ways you can make a beat, everyone's going to try all these different ways. I mean, like even RZA, like he gets every new piece of equipment that comes out every year, he goes and gets it and he tries to master it. You know what I'm saying? So like, if the end result is a dope beat, who cares how whatever path you went on to get there? You know what I'm saying? Like
I remember, I don't know the piece of equipment, but it was on MTV Cribs when it was the RZA. They had like the wu-tang LA house, and it was up in his room, and he had some kind of effect process or something, and he's like, I'm letting you guys into the temple right now, but I'm going to show you. This is what I fuck with.
Yeah,
for
it was
every
like
beat.
some rack filter.
Yeah,
shit,
exactly.
You know
It was some kind of rack, whatever.
For like a guitar.
I remember I tried to pause that shit. I was like,
it's like, yeah,
I
run my AR-10 through like a guitar amp.
I was recording. I was recording on a motherfucking karaoke machine. You know what I mean? And I was like, rack filter, what?
Yeah,
I didn't know what a 4-track was.
It doesn't matter what kind of piece of equipment, whether it's software, hardware, whatever. Yeah. As long as what you're making, you know,
the end result makes it happen. Yeah.
So you're like an industry person. Who are people talking about that are in a position to make shit happen, like trend wise, like what artists are, you know, outside of like Kendrick Lamar? Are there any artists that are kind of like
who's the next to blow?
I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with A$AP Rocky's album. Just like he's like
it is coming out this fall.
He's a new New York rapper coming out. You know, whatever. We'll see what happens with that.
Honestly, I think that kid's gonna blow. As much as I cannot stand his music.
Do you think he's gonna be larger than Jeezy? That's what I'm wondering. I wonder. No, I'm serious.
I do.
I seriously wonder. I wonder if he's gonna be larger than Jeezy.
I think part of it these days is not even. I think part of it is hype on when it comes to certain MCs and stuff like that. Like if you went to Charlotte right now and some kid was like, you know, some 17-year-old kid like loves A$AP Rocky. Everybody else has to love A$AP Rocky. So when it comes out, all those kids are gonna buy that shit. I'm
telling you, like 19-year-olds love that motherfucker.
I don't understand it, man. Like
I'm
like, you're from Harlem?
He came out with Peso and, you know, the other joint, whatever, and then it was like, all right, then he got signed and like, all right, what are you gonna come with? And then he came out with Goldie, and that shit is fucking dope, man. Whatever. Like he came out with a dope record that was the machine was behind. So it's like, all right, there's promise. Like let's see what he can do. You know, other dudes who, you know, usually like you have a couple songs, you get signed, and then either you never hear about this person ever again.
He's like Wiz. He's the new Wiz. He's the new Wiz. You know what I mean? Like he is that dude out of nowhere. That is the buzz that everybody's gonna buy. I mean, there's gonna be kids in San Diego buying the A$AP Rocky album. There's no question about it.
Well, I want to hear his album just to see like what happens with it. I mean, he just came out with that record with Drake, 2 Chainz, and Kendrick Lamar. Was it a fucking problem? That
what was the name of it?
Fucking problem. It's awesome. Cool, but you know, I want to see what happens with that. If there's ever a Jay Electronic album, I would love to hear that. You know, to see if the hype ever lives up to whatever he puts out.
Yeah.
That's probably about it on the hype side. I want to hear what that Rock Marciano album sounds like. Like crazy.
It's rumored he has like 4 or 5 albums like in the can. He's just chilling, like
who
doing push-ups and shit. I don't know.
He does his own shit.
Push-ups.
Alchemist. Supposedly he has a whole album with Alchemist.
It's Push-ups. That's his producer.
Yo, what is that? Who's the Alchemist not producing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, Alchemist is just in a crazy.
I'm like, have you seen the new Tony Bennett album produced by the Alchemist?
I mean, you know, there's probably like countless tracks they did with like him and Ono and all that Gangrene shit. You know, like fucking. That's just lifestyle, man. I think he's just in the room like banging shit out. He had like a real productive 7 months. You know.
I'll tell you something right now. Like what I'm taking away from this conversation and this podcast is more than anything. And it's a beautiful thing that hip hop is not dead. It's living and breathing. there are people making real hip hop, quality hip hop. We're not talking about some bootleg shit. There's a lot of people making that bootleg. You know what I mean? That bootleg shit. But there's real good hip hop being made today, right now. My man A. Kelley is one of these people.
Well, I think like anytime people are forcing you to listen to something and you don't like it, you're gonna go try to find
That's true.
other good shit that you actually like. I mean,
That's true.
I mean, like you turn on Hot 97, you listen to it for an hour, you're gonna hear a lot of the same songs 2 or 3 times.
Rick Ross,
You're gonna
Drake.
jump off the
Yeah.
But most of the sounds the same, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna
It's the
jump
same
off. You're
producer,
gonna jump off the
same
George
type of
Washington
beat.
Bridge.
Like, you know, some of those songs are great. Some of those songs like you can listen to in your car, you can listen to in the club, whatever. But when you want to like listen to some dope rap music,
It's like, why am I still hearing Stay Scheming? Seriously, why is that still on the fucking radio? Really? Really?
I'm like, I just want to hear La Fla on a loop.
Jesus
You know what I mean?
Christ,
Like-
man. Put that song to bed, please.
You know what I mean? Yo, my man last weekend, we were at a bar last week. He was like, "What do you want to hear?" I'm like, La Fla. Put that shit on right now. Done.
But I would like to say that the soundtrack, I'm going to say this, it's the best sort of like hip hop soundtrack since like the Juice Menace to Society shit, man.
Wow.
Like straight up. It's a very like, listen, and I'm, you know, not just as an album, but it was like when you hear the soundtrack, you want to go see like the source like shit that inspired it.
No
You
doubt,
know, it makes
no
you
doubt.
want to go
No
check
doubt.
out the film, and you know, yeah. I got to say that.
I mean, listen, shouts. I mean, that's a huge. Listen, this guy was, you know, I mean, we think about 93, 94, we were all coming up, and we loved. I mean, this guy was just the producer for a hip hop group, an MC, and now he's, you know, a director with a crazy fucking kung fu film. Like, shouts to the RZA. Like, that is amazing. That is amazing. Presented by Tarantino. That is amazing.
But know what's even crazier is like, you know, 93, you know, he's sampling kung fu movies. On this soundtrack, now he's sampling his own.
His own, yo,
like,
yo,
you know, that
circle.
that circle of life.
Yo, here's the crazy thing. 10 years from now is going to be the first producers who just sample The Man with the Iron Fist,
Right.
thinking it's fucking Master Killer. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Andrew Kelley, I like the way your mind thinks, baby. I like the way your mind thinks.
Man, thanks. I love it. Definitely. And again, yeah, check the soundtrack. We got a link on the site so you can stream it and preview.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're a cheap bastard, but seriously, it's $7.99.
Yo, if you don't have an extra $8 to spend on one of the best albums of the year, you got problems.
It's $7.99. Come on.
What's up, player?
That's like two Red Bulls or one beer. You know what I mean?
Or like 30 ramen.
30 ramen.
Exactly. You're only 30 ramens away from getting the soundtrack. Stop eating ramen. Buy this soundtrack.
But yeah, man. Thanks for coming
Yeah,
through.
thanks for having me, man.
Yo, A. Kelley,
Always
thank you so much, brother. I love you. Appreciate you coming through. Happy birthday, my man Daniel.
Yeah.
Shouts to my man Charles in the building. And, you can find us, BrooklynProps@gmail.com.
On Twitter at BrooklynProps, PROPS. And don't forget the website, BrooklynProps.com. Shouts out to our extended fam, the F What You Heard podcast.
Yeah, what's up, Randall?
Yeah, boys are getting it done. And
Hardball Records, what up?
Yeah, Hardball Records, what up, baby?
Hardboiled in this bitch. Big ups to the Airlights.
Yeah, shouts to the Airlights.
Big ups to the Airlights. Walk with a bop.
And we also,
Big news.
What? We eat fish?
we eat fish, toss salads, and make rap ballads.
We're done. We're out.